For my eighth interview, I've chosen a fantastic friend and overall person, Mario Basora. Mario is an incredible person and has been friends with my family for as long as I can remember, and his work in education truly is amazing. I can't wait to get started, and as always, thank you so much for watching.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm hanging out here in Columbus.
Nice. So, the first question, could you tell us more about your childhood?
Yeah, so I was born in the Bronx, New York, which is part of New York City, and but I was raised most of my life in Southern California, in a city called Santa Ana, which you may or may not have been through at some point on one of your trips. But it's just south of LA, I think, where your aunt lives, and yeah, I grew up there, and to my with my mom and my sister. My dad was never around in my life, so I kind of grew up to a single mom, and I lived out there, and we grew up in a little bit of an apartment, probably about the same size as your house you guys have now. Really, is where I grew up, and with my sister and my mom, and we liked it. It was nice, and ultimately, I was really interested in sports, so I grew up playing a lot of baseball and some soccer. And, as I got older, I just kind of focused a little bit more on baseball. I kept playing that, and I went to church a lot. So, church was a big part of our life growing up. And I was part of a Christian church out there in Southern California. So, I went to church every week, twice a week, and did a lot of sports and then went to school. But that's really about, all. And yeah, that's kind of a summary of my life growing up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, the next um, the next question. Tell us more about your day-to-day life as the CEO of Future Ready Columbus and father of two.
Great. Okay. I'll start with the father of two. Yeah, because I'm in Columbus a lot, I don't get to spend a lot of time, as much time as I did before with them, but um, kind of make up for it a little bit on the weekends. So Mateo and I will see each other typically on Thursday night, and I'll kind of come home and hang out with him for a minute, put him to bed, and then on Fridays we'll just do something together a little bit. And then usually on Saturdays he has baseball, so we spend a lot of time together at baseball because I coach his team, and that's a lot of fun. Excuse me. And so we do a little bit of that on Saturday, and then we'll often go out to lunch every Saturday after baseball, and that's kind of fun to do. And then we'll kind of sometimes watch sports together and do different things like that. We occasionally will go see a baseball game together when we can. But that kind of sums up most of my time with Mateo. Now Karina is in St. Louis at school, so we don't see too much of each other nowadays. When she is home, we spend a lot of time together, which is great, but when we can, at least. Um, she calls me every now and then. Like we talked for about 15 minutes yesterday, and then maybe this week when I'm in Columbus here, I'll probably call her one night and we'll talk for half an hour, maybe even an hour. We talk for a long time, and we'll just talk about whatever's on her mind or whatever she's going through. And so, yeah, that's sort of my life with my kids. And then in terms of my job as a CEO, it's pretty cool actually. I get to wake up in the morning. So I'm usually here in the office 4 days a week to 5 days a week. And I will just, work in the office, and usually I have a lot of meetings. So I go from meeting to meeting to meeting. Oftentimes I have 4 or 5 in a day, and probably on average. And then I'll go and just meet with different people from all kinds of different organizations. I get to meet with some really interesting, high-powered people in the area, and that's kind of fun to see what they do and get to know them a little bit and learn. Um, Gosh, and what else do I get to do in my job? So, we get to sometimes have evening events where we'll go to book events where we're giving books to kids, and I get to hang out with young, real preschool age kids, which is really, really cool and fun to do. Sometimes I'll have evening events where I have to go meet different people that are leading organizations, or I got to go to fundraisers to support some of those organizations. Like this Thursday, I have to go to an event that's like a book event where you bring used books to this location, and then they'll take them. So you're kind of donating a bunch of used books, and then they'll use them to give them to kids between the kindergarten and third grade. So
Nice.
it'll be kind of nice and fun to do and be part of that. But that's kind of my life at work right now.
So the third question, tell us more about your family and how you like to spend time with them.
Yeah, so I really enjoy. I'll talk about what we like to do together, all of us. So we like to watch shows together sometimes, and we have a really mean competition occasionally where we'll play, not occasionally, but probably once a week when we're all together. We end up playing euchre together a lot.
Mm.
It's usually me and Mateo versus Karina and Alice. And Mateo and I have been getting our butts kicked for a long time, but Mateo's getting older and smarter, and he's figuring things out. And so we're at the point where it's almost about even, and we're almost to the point where we can potentially beat them. Although the last time we played, we did take a step backward, but generally speaking, we're getting better, and we'll compete with them and do well. What else do I like to do with my family? So we will sometimes go out to dinner. What else do we like to do together? We watch a lot of shows together. Sometimes we'll go out to eat together, but that's about it, really.
Nice.
Yeah. And we travel together, but we don't travel like you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to. This summer, we're going to Puerto Rico, so that's exciting.
Nice. That sounds cool. So the fourth question, was there anything specific that made you want to work in the education industry?
Yeah. So I think for me, when I grew up, I didn't really have a father in my life, and I was the first person to graduate from college and go to, and kind of do that in my family, and still nobody's done it. And so it's a big deal for me. And I think the one thing that's helped me was education, and I had some college professors that made a big difference. And it just, I had a professor that told me I should become a teacher. And I knew that I wanted to do something where I was making a big difference in the lives of people and giving back. And so I decided I'd try to go to a camp in Pennsylvania. I was living in California, and I was going to be a camp counselor. So I became a camp counselor in Pennsylvania, which is for the whole summer. So you go all summer. When you get to college, you can do this. It's kind of fun. And you go and you get to be a camp counselor all summer in a cabin somewhere, and you get to lead, 25 kids. And so I had 25 12-year-olds in a cabin with me. And it was so much fun. I love the kids. I thought they were great. And I fell in love with the age group. And so I thought, I think I want to be a junior high teacher. So that's when I decided to become a teacher. And it just was a great way to give back to, I think, people who had, come before me and make a difference for kids who had similar upbringing as me, but somehow just help them get over that hump to be able to change their lives.
Nice. Good story.
Yeah, thank you.
Next question. Where's your favorite place in the world and why?
Ooh, yeah. I like that question. Well, so my favorite place in the world is in San Diego, California. Okay, so San Diego, there's a school there called Point Loma Nazarene University, and that's where I went to school my freshman year of college. And so at Point Loma, there's this long kind of windy road that goes from the entrance to the college all the way to the last dorm, which is at the bottom of the college, right on the water. Literally, it's like 20 feet above the water is this dorm. And the Pacific Ocean's just right there. And so I stayed in that dorm, luckily. And I learned about this path. So if you could leave the dorm and you go on the other side of the parking lot, there's these catacombs, basically, which is like this dug in kind of area that water has, passed over time. And so there's a little path you can kind of wander through. And it's like a 3-minute walk or something to the edge of this cliff that is maybe 10 feet above the water. And it just hangs, it's kind of a cliff that hangs over the water like this. It's got this big open area you can sit in and just kind of meditate, pray, think about the world, whatever it is. I just loved going there. And especially when it's like a full moon or when it's stars are out and just late at night and you can just hear the ocean crashing against just the most peaceful place I've ever been. And every now and then when I'm in California, I always go there. and check it out again to make sure I just, it's a good place to center myself. But it's been about 5 years since I've been there, so I think I'm due to go back. So,
Tell us about your favorite hobbies.
ooh, okay. So I really enjoy, as your dad knows, I enjoy playing golf. That's probably my most favorite hobby. I like doing it. I'm not very good at it, but I try, and I'm going to keep trying, I think. And then I also love coaching baseball, playing baseball sometimes when I can, and just enjoy being part of the game. It's been my whole life, and Mateo really likes it now too. So it's a really good chance for us to bond together. In addition to that, I also love playing sports and watching sports in general. So I really like watching, like, March Madness basketball is a lot of fun to watch. I love watching football and things like that. And I like watching baseball a little bit too. But that's sort of my favorite things to do. Trying to think of what else I like. So I like reading books a lot when I can. But I don't have too much time for that as much. But yeah, I'm starting to like cooking a little bit, which is kind of weird because I've never liked cooking in my life, but I'm trying to start doing it more, and it's kind of making a difference for me. So
Nice.
yeah.
So the next question, what is your favorite part of working in education?
Definitely the kids. It's an easy one. I really just enjoy being around the kids. It's a lot of fun. Whenever I can get around kids, it's great. They're just fun to be around and to hang out with and talk to and give their perspective on life. And, to me, I think that's definitely the best part of it. But honestly, I'm not really working a lot with kids as much anymore. So I think since I stopped working with kids a little bit more closely, I would say the other thing I really, really like is I just like the idea of taking. So one of the cool things about being in my role is you have an opportunity to take a big abstract concept or an idea or a theory that you have, and then you take this idea of, okay, this is where we want to get to. How are we going to get there? And then you construct sort of a plan by which you're going to get from point A to point B. And that is really hard in organizations because you have to figure out a way to get people on board, communicate with them, and then slowly, set some benchmarks and requirements along the way, and then support them to get there. And seeing the work that sort of started in your own head actually happen in reality, and watching it happen in front of you is probably the coolest feeling I think you can get in any work. So
yeah. Nice. So the next question, what is something you are passionate about?
So I think I'm really passionate about making a difference in the lives of kids. I think that's really, really important for me. It's a big reason I have this job, why I worked in schools and teaching. I just always want to try to improve kids' lives and make a difference for them, and especially kids who come from underserved backgrounds and struggle and have struggled. I do feel like that's part of my calling in life, and it's something that I have to do, and I need to, I think, devote my life to that and my work to that. So and I miss that because I didn't get to do that as much in my last job. And so I feel like I can do it again now, which makes it really exciting for me. I also have a passion for, I think I have a passion for golf and for sports in general. I really enjoy both of those things. I have a passion for hanging out with my wife and family and just sort of being together. And that's really great. And I sort of miss that at times when I'm not around them. That's probably about it.
Yeah.
I have a passion for traveling too. I haven't traveled at all much, but I do want to travel a lot more. And it's so much fun. So I'm really excited about some of the trips we're going to be taking soon.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Future.
Yeah. So I'll talk about my personal goals, I think, for the future. So one of my personal goals is to lose a good amount of weight. So I'm trying to get in better shape and drop some pounds and do some of that stuff because it's important for me to do. So part of the reason I'm starting to cook now, because I want to get a little bit more healthy, and I think that's a good way to do that. Another one of my personal goals is to become financially independent. So get to a place where I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. And the sooner I can get there, the better. We're not there yet. We got a long way to go, but I think that's a real goal of mine, is to continue to grow our savings so that I can retire whenever I want. And then I think that's when work will become really fun, because then you don't have to work. You're just working because you want to work. And then I think it becomes really interesting because you can do some cool stuff when you don't really have to worry about necessarily what your boss thinks of you or what other people think of you. You just do what you think is right in the job, and maybe it'll make my job just generally more fun. Although I think it's pretty fun right now, so maybe even more fun.
So the final question, you're an inspiration to me because of your hard work and making sure kids get the best education they can. Who inspires you?
Oh, thanks for saying that. Who inspires me? Gosh. So yeah, there are a number of kind of leaders within education that have inspired me over time. There's a author by the name of Paulo Freire, who's he's dead now, but he wrote a lot of really great books about education from a philosophical standpoint. And, I just really was inspired by his work. There's another author that I love that's a education author. His name is Yang Zhao, and he talks about the idea of kids really learning by doing, and he kind of pushes hard against testing and standardized testing, and really teaching kids to kind of tap into their passions and creativity as part of the work. And I love what he says about a lot of that. I think I'm also inspired by, leaders like President Obama, inspired by a few people I see doing really creative work in education as practitioners. There's a guy I recently got to know. His name's Colin McGinnis, and he runs this organization called Sprout 5, which does really cool work in Columbus. There's a large school organization called High Tech High out in California that I really like, and they inspire me a bunch too, I think. So those are kind of the ones who really inspire me.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for letting me interview you.
Yeah, it was great.
I hope we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great. Very nice talking to you. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Audrey. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.